just to get things started while we wait for everyone to pile in here, I would love to just hear where everyone is from. I know you guys didn't have to spend today, with us. You'd be playing Xbox or, watching Netflix, but, I'm sure your parents had you drag all you kids out here to listen to this. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you this is going to be so life-changing, hopefully for you guys in the future. But I'd love to hear as well, where everyone's from, where they're located. You put that in the chat. And while we're doing that, I'll get started over here. So, Charity, Nate, what's going on? Nolan, if you're out there too, how we doing?
Nice.
All right. Can everyone see my screen? We got NYC in the house. Love it. NYC. Where else is everyone from? New York. That's some Bay Area, San Francisco. Is it only in New York and SF? I feel like that's the only place we got to diversify more. Slow, Central Coast. Okay. I don't know if Mark, if you know that I went to Cal Poly. So, did you find out about us from
Nice.
Matt? Yeah.
No, Buddy Clinton.
Oh, Clinton. Okay. I love it. Yeah. I'm a Mustang through and through. So I love Slow. It's my favorite place in the world. Downtown
awesome.
Slow did change a lot though.
Yeah.
Since I went to school. They still have the farmers markets out there on Thursdays?
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they have one on Thursday and one on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. They have two now. Okay. I love it. So that's different there. San Francisco. Love it, love it, love it. Amazing, guys. All right. So I'll get started. We're going to have a lot of information today. I know it's dinner time too. So I'm going to ask for a lot of engagement as well, guys. So if I'm going to call on you, just be prepared. So just as a quick introduction, this is me, my amazing wife, Jenny, who couldn't be on this call today because she is 39 weeks pregnant. So she's doing all the work for us carrying our child, which is part of the reason why we wanted to have this as well, is because, I want to make sure that we teach our future children how to make money as well, the right way. So who we are, why you should even listen to us. So, my wife and I, we run 5 different businesses, all to do with anything from real estate to construction to all that stuff in between. We do about $4 million in revenue a year. We own about $88 million in real estate. We're about to be parents for the first time, so that's new. But I grew up in a household where, I always thought in my life that, if I got good grades, got into a good college, that I could get a good job and make money that way, and I would be happy for the rest of my life, and my life would be a fairy tale. And I think when I did that, right, what I realized really fast was like I didn't want to work that job forever. That kind of scared me as well, where I was like, oh, I have to work the same job for the rest of my life, right? And Phil knows I worked with his wife a long time ago, and it's a grinding thing, right? And that was the reason why, when I was a kid, like in school, like it was never really taught to us how to actually make money in the real world. I think they do a great job of teaching us history and teaching us, books that we're never going to read again, but not to actually, look at investing or, how to budget and all that stuff. So that's something that I really, really wanted to really dedicate our lives to, and our mission, right, is to be able to do this. And so I know a lot of you kids probably want to play Xbox or be on TikTok right now, but I promise you that if you just give me your guys' attention for the next 45 minutes here, something was going to unlock in your brain, right? That hopefully you will take for the rest of your life. Hopefully that when you're older, you can maybe even give this back to the next generation as well, and have this call with the teenagers in 30 years. I ask for nothing in return, except for that you guys were present with me and that you guys ask questions. Right, we're going to go through a lot of different things today that are fun and new. But guess what? There's no dumb questions because I've asked all of them myself. Right now, I bet you everyone here is wondering the same thing. So we'll start with agreements. If you guys can type a yes in the chat, if you agree with me, we'll get kickstarted. All right. Yes. Let's roll. So first off, ZEN Cares, this is our nonprofit that we want to go empower our youth with financial literacy, so that when they become adults, they have the ability to leave a lasting impact as well, right? Get ahead of this because, honestly, schools, like I said, don't do a great job of teaching this, right? They do a great job about teaching us other topics, history, all that stuff, but, not just money. right? And money is a tool, though, right? Money is a tool to create wealth and time freedom. And right now, there's a stat that I just want to throw out there that 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, which I thought was insane. Yeah, so paycheck to paycheck, meaning that they don't have enough money until they get their paycheck from their job to pay their expenses for the next month, right? And it's every month. And it's a tough cycle, right? And what we want to do is a source of that is really, teach people when they're younger, right? So that they learn how to even budget themselves and not have to do that. And they can actually, save a lot of money and invest as well. So we're getting to the core of it, guys. And that's what I'm super, super excited about, right? And one thing that I always say is that, one of my favorite quotes is, you want to go fast, you can go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together, right? And these are the people behind the scenes that make this all happen. This is our board of directors at ZEN Cares. We got Chris, we got Patty, Joe, and Charity who are on this call. Maybe I'd love to just kick it off and just like have them introduce themselves as well, because without them, none of this would be possible, right? So Patty, I know you're on this call. Patty, you want to come on video real quick and just do a quick intro, and we'll pass over to Joe and then Charity.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Patty. I'm a nurse, and I actually met Jenny through her being our real estate agent. And that's how we got connected with Jenny and Calvin, and was a part of Zen Coast University, which was really transformational for my husband and I. We learned so much and just really kind of ignited the fire within us to be proactive about our children learning the things that we felt like we should have learned a long time ago. So our daughters are 5 and 2.5, and we're really committed to helping them learn and grow. And when we had the opportunity to get involved with Zen Coast Cares, it just felt very natural to be a part of this. So I'm happy to be a part and work with Calvin and Jenny on this mission. Thank you.
Whoop. Thank you so much, Patty. Joe, where you at, Joe?
Hey everybody, I'm Joe LaBarbera. I no longer have hair on my head, only on my face. I've known Calvin for almost 20 years now. Hard to believe, hard to say that. It makes me feel old. But it's been great. Him and I actually played baseball together, and that's how we first met. And in my day-to-day, I work as an investment professional. I've been working in investments for about 10 years now. This has always been a passion, hobby, extreme interest of mine. So I was really excited when Calvin decided to roll out Zen Coast Cares and teach something that I am so passionate about. It's been a great experience so far, and I'm looking forward to teaching everyone and growing with all of you.
Yes, I love it. You'll see Joe's face a lot in the potential videos as well. All right, Charity. Nope, Charity, you on?
Sorry, there you go.
There you are.
Hi guys, so my name is Charity. I actually got through Zen Coast through Jenny, who is actually our real estate agent for a house here in South San Francisco. So I've been working side by side, I think, when we started this with Calvin, as far as going out to schools and starting reaching out to the community to let them know more about Zen Coast Cares. I have 2 sons, and my oldest is 12. So we actually did one financial education class here in South San Francisco. By day, I'm a registered nurse, so I'm really excited to dive in and just, reach out to the community and pay it back.
Yes, I love it. So very passionate people, and like without them, none of this would be possible. And this is all for all you all kids that are out there. It's all for you guys, right? So make sure that you give gratitude to your parents for even bringing you here, because this is going to be life-changing. So we're going to kick it off into some actual learning here. So we're just going to start with what is money, right? And just to make it a little funner today, we're going to refer to money today as moolah, right? So can you guys say moolah? Nathan, can you say moolah? All right, so we're going to use moolah as our word for money. So what is money, right? Money is just a currency. It can be, right? You exchange it for goods and services, sure. But in our mind, what money is in reality is just a vehicle, right? Because at the end of the day, what's the most important asset in life is not money, right? But the most important asset in life is time, right? We all have a limited time on earth, right? That homeless person in downtown SF, that billionaire like Jeff Bezos, they all have one thing in common. And that one thing in common is that we all have a limited time on this earth. So the real currency of life is actually time. And can money get us more time back? Sure, right? If we don't have to work forever, right? And so that's how we like to look at things first and foremost, is that yes, money doesn't just grow on trees. We have to work for it. We have to work hard for it. But once we can make money work for us, that is when the game changes a lot, right? And you don't have to work as much for money and you get your time back. So a cool little fun framework that we're going to do today, guys, is we're just going to ask you to be a kid, right? And so what that means is, it's basically just creating a framework for you guys, but also just a mindset that you guys can have for the rest of your life. And if you just do these 3 things over and over and over again, that's where you're really going to be successful in making money, right? So I'm going to call on some people here, and I'm going to have you guys read out each one. So Austin, I'm going to go you first. Can you read number 1 for us?
Know your numbers.
Know your numbers. All right. I love it. Let's go over to Mark. You read number 2 for us.
Invest.
Invest. All right. Awesome. I don't know whose other kids are on as well. Let's see. Is Nathan or Nolan on? Oh.
Donate.
Mason?
Donate.
Yeah.
And give back.
Donate and give back. All right. I love it. So that is our kid model. That's being a kid. That's where we're going to be as a framework, right? 1, know your numbers. 2, invest. And 3, donate and give back, right? Those are the 3 things that if you can do these 3 really, really well, you're going to be really successful in life, right? So we're going to start with just knowing your numbers. So who here loves math? All right, except for Joe, doesn't count. All right, Austin. All right, Mark. Okay. I hated math growing up when I was in middle school and high school. So you guys were way ahead. I was always like, hey, we're going to have a calculator when we grow up. So what do I need to know all this stuff? But the older I got, I realized that math is pretty cool, right? Just like Joe did. Joe was raising his hand like, oh, he's like, I love math, right? And math is fun, right? Because it tells you a story. It doesn't lie to you because it is what it is. That's the truth. And if you know, like Joe mentioned before, Joe and I used to play baseball together. Anyone else here a baseball fan? Mark, you like baseball? Okay. I'm going to ask you a quick question, Mark. What is a batting average of a good baseball player?
Shohei Ohtani, one of my favorite players.
Shohei Ohtani, yeah, he does really well. I think his batting average is like 330 or something like that, right? So he gets a hit once every 3 at bats. And we say that he's good because the batting average is good because the numbers, right?
Yeah.
The numbers tell us exactly that he is a good baseball player, right? He has 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs, whatever it is nowadays, because he's good at baseball,
Yeah.
right? And people that have a 100 batting average and 1 home run for the season, that's not a good baseball player. We know that because the numbers told us that. They don't lie to us, right? And so the framework that we're going to have here is that, 1, we got to love math, right? Math is going to be so important in the game of life, right? So I'm going to have everyone come off mute, right? Everyone come off mute. Come on, we're going to say this out loud. We're going to tell this incantation to ourselves, right? We're going to say, I love math and math loves me, okay? I love math and math loves me. So on 3, we're going to say it. So 1, 2, 3. I love math. Math loves me. Woo! All right, you guys were so excited about that. I'm so excited that you were so excited about it. So there's 2 principles, right, that knowing your numbers entails. Number 1 is we got to make moolah, right? We got to make moolah somehow, right, so that we can actually get money. And then 2 is we spend less than we make, right? It should be pretty simple, but I'll tell you as much, a lot of Americans don't live that way. Obviously, they live paycheck to paycheck. So that's not going to be you, right? We're going to make money and we're going to spend less than we make. And how we can do that, no matter what age you are. I don't want to hear any excuses about I'm only 10, I'm only 12. there's always something you can do. And so making moolah, what does that mean? It means making the monies. It means that you obviously need to make some money somehow. And the best way to do that in the beginning is that you trade your time for money. And we call this active income, right? So many ways you can do this. Yes, even as a kid, right? So anything like selling Girl Scout cookies. And so, by the way, I am a big sucker for Samoas. So if there's Girl Scouts on here, write down my email me. I will buy all your Samoas when it's Girl Scout cookie season. Number two, what I used to do is I used to mow lawns in my neighborhood, made money that way. I know a lot of people in my neighborhood here, they walk dogs, right? Then I got a job at Jamba Juice. My wife actually flipped Jordans. Anyone a Jordan fan here? Yeah, I know you are. Yep, exactly. So flipping Jordans, my wife used to like refurbish them and just like clean them up and then resell them for a profit. Actually paid for her study abroad in Europe, which is crazy. And then eventually, we get a job or we start a business, right? So that's how we get money in the door, right? So to explain this more, I'm going to introduce a couple of friends of mine. Right? These are two of my best AI friends. It's John and Jane, right? So can we say hi to John and Jane? Hi, John and Jane. They're both 17 years old, right? John loves being outside. He's got a job right now, mowing lawns in his neighborhood, and he makes $1,000 a month. Jane is also 17. She loves puppies. They're so cute, loves petting them, walking them, all that stuff. So she got a job walking dogs, right? And she also makes $1,000 a month, right? So great, John and Jane, they're both making moolah, right? They're doing things the right way. Second principle is once you start making moolah, you got to make sure you spend less than you make, right? So it seems like common sense, like I said, but how many Americans are in debt and live paycheck to paycheck is crazy. And there's a lot of ways that, there's traps, that there's ways that they can make you spend money that you don't even have, right? Things and examples like that are like credit cards, for example. It's a very easy way to get in debt on money that you don't actually have. So we always want to make sure that we know our numbers, right? How much are we bringing in, right? So if you spend less than you make, it's not about what you make really in this world. It's about what you keep, because you do have to pay bills, right? You'll have rents, electricity, internet, iPhone, all that stuff. You have to pay taxes, right? We pay the government taxes so they can take care of our roads, right? And our phone lines and electricity and all that stuff, right? But after that, that's all what you keep, right? So it's very simple. If you don't spend more than you make and you invest the rest, that money will work for you. And eventually you won't have to work anymore, right? And so a quick tool in a way that you can do this. So write this down if you have a journal or notebook, is how to actually save, right? So principles here is we use the 50-25-25 rule, right? So 50-25-25 rule. You may not have a lot of expenses right now as a kid, right? But it's still something that I would love for you and encourage you to get into a good habit of. Maybe you guys, collect your money in piggy banks or whatever it is, right? So maybe you have one piggy bank that you put 50% of your expenses in, right? In our piggy bank, where you put 25% of whatever you make in, and another 25% that you can invest with, right? So the 50-25-25 rule essentially is 50% goes to things that are your living costs, things that you have to pay for, like housing, a roof, shelter over your head, utilities, so your electricity, your gas, your internet, food, you got to eat, right? You got to eat those Girl Scout cookies somehow, and eventually your transportation and your cars, right? So 50%, can go to those things. 25% can go to non-essential costs, right? So things like vacations, gym memberships, shopping, find a new Xbox game, whatever it is, right? 25% can go into that. But if you can save 25%, that just goes into investing, right? Stocks, real estate, we'll get into that more later. That's where the real magic happens, right? And the bonus there, this is just a framework, but if you can invest even more than 25%, then you're going to make a lot more money that way too, right? But at the minimum, I'd say try to do at least 50, 25. Cool. Make sense there? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, amazing. So I'm going to reintroduce John and Jane, right? So they're making money, right? John's mowing lawns, making $1,000 a month. Jane's walking dogs, she's making $1,000 a month, right? So, but John, right, they live different mindsets and lifestyles, right? John likes to spend, Jane likes to invest. So John spends $700 and gets the latest headphones, and he buys a new iPhone. right? So he's only saving $300, which is still good. He's still saving $300 that he can invest with. Jane, same thing, right? She's making $1,000, but instead of buying new iPhones and headphones, she's investing in learning how to invest, right? Again, still saving $300 or 30%, so still in the right, which is good because she has no other expenses. And I want to give a real life example of that. Austin, you guys just went to Disneyland. Do you guys happen to go to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? Or see that one? Okay, so there's a Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and do you guys know who this is? Johnny Depp? Okay, and now, Joe, I feel old, man. I thought every kid knew who Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyways, there's a movie out there. It was made in 2010 or something like that. You guys probably weren't even born yet. Really famous movie, Pirates of the Caribbean. You should check it out. Really, really good movie by Disney. This is Johnny Depp. He's the actor who played the pirate in Pirates of the Caribbean, right? He made millions of dollars in those films, right? And he also, because he made millions of dollars in his films, he started to level up his lifestyle, meaning that he spent $30,000 a month on wine. He spent $200,000 a month on private planes, $150,000 for security, and $300,000 for his 40-person staff. And that's $8.16 million a year on just these expenses, right? And so he was not doing what? He was not knowing his numbers, or else he would have known that was not sustainable. And now he was in massive debt, right? So we don't want to, it's not about what you make. Like you said, this person make millions of dollars making movies, but he spent so much more on spending on random things, right? So you want to track that, right, in general. And I'm going to give you a flip side of an example. This is my boy, Theodore Johnson. People are like, who is Theodore? Yeah, no one knows who Theodore is, right? Because he was someone who never made more than $14,000 a year working at UPS, right? He was a mailman essentially, right? And he was making $14,000 a year. This is in the 40s, like so equivalent to about $80,000 today in today's money. And he met a wealthy man once, right? And he asked him for advice. And that wealthy man told him to invest 40% of what he made. And Theodore said, well, that's tough. Gee whiz, I can't live off of $5,600 a year. I want to make 14 grand. And the wealthy man said, you asked for my advice. And so what did Theodore do? He found a way. He adjusted his lifestyle, and he was able to invest 40% of his income into UPS stock, his employer. And he retired with a net worth of $70 million, right? And he gave away 36. He never made more than $14,000 a year, and he retired with 70 million. So again, it's not about what you make, it is what you keep and what you invest. And if this was an example of, I have a personal friend, right, whose father worked in a grocery store. This is in Sacramento, his whole life. He never spent more than he made. He invested the rest in real estate, bought houses in Sacramento. And guess what? Retired a few years ago with millions. And all he does now is he hangs out on his boat at Lake Folsom. Right? So that's how easy it can be. So in this first pillar that we're talking about, knowing your numbers, right? We're going to give a little homework. I know you guys love homework. I loved homework when I was a kid, right? So for the kids out there, I just want you guys to start to think about, what are some things that you can start doing today to start making money? Mowing lawns, flipping Jordans, being an influencer, whatever it is, right? For the parents, I want you guys to help create a budget with your child, right? Even review maybe even the budget at home with them, right? Just so they can see real numbers, right? Is that a fun exercise that we can do for our first homework assignment? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Amazing. All right. We're going to talk about the I in being a kid. And the I in being a kid is invest, right? So we're going to be talking about the power of compounding. Joe loves this. This is Joe's best friend at work, right? So first rule of investing is the power of compounding. And I'm going to explain this in terms of an apple tree, right? This is what investing really does for you in the long run, because apples in this case can be the moolah, right? So let's say you plant a small apple tree in your backyard, right? And over time, that tree grows and it produces 10 apples. You're hungry, so you eat a few of those apples, great, but you save the seeds. Right? You save 10 more seeds and you plant the rest. for new trees. The second year, guess what? That same tree gives you 10 more apples, no matter what. But now you've planted 10 more seeds in your garden. And those trees are young, so maybe they only produce 1 apple that year. But now you went from having 10 trees a year, 10 apples a year, to 20 apples a year, right? And guess what happens in year 3? The original tree still gives you 10 apples, but now each of the other 10 trees that you planted gives you now 10 apples, right? And so my math is really bad. Again, I didn't do really well in school in math, but I know a lot of you guys raise your hand. What is the math there? If you have 10 apples and you have 10 other trees, 10 total trees that have 10 apples as well. So 10 trees that produce 10 apples that year. How many apples is that?
Apples? How many? Go.
10 times 10.
What's 10 times 10?
That's 1.
100.
That's 100.
100. Woo,
That's
100.
100.
Yes, great job. 100 apples. Yes. So that's the power. You just have one apple tree, and that grew into 100 apples a year, right? And that's the same thing you do with investing, right? But what can be an apple tree? Let's talk about that. An apple tree is what we call an asset, right? Investing doesn't mean just going and spending your money on random stuff. That is not what investing means. Investing means you are buying assets, not liabilities. So I'm going to have 2 people read this again. So I have someone read assets and what it is to the group. So who wants to read what an asset is in green? Yeah, Mark. Or Ella, sorry, Ella.
Asset, something that puts money in your pocket or helps you make more money.
That sounds awesome. Who likes that? I like that. Who wants to read liabilities? Who wants to read liabilities? I will call on someone. Austin does not want to read it. All right, Nate, you're back up. What you got, Nate?
Liability, something that takes money out of your pocket or costs you.
Yep, exactly. So we want assets. We don't want liabilities, right? So if that toy helps you make money, like if it helps you pay rent, you rent it out to other kids and they pay you for it, that's an asset. It puts more money in your pocket. But if that toy makes you, pay more money because you got to fix it all the time, or a dog that you have to, give food to all the time, that's a liability because it costs you more money at the end of the day. So we're going to make moolah for you. So going back to our Apple, our Apple example, we're going to talk about Apple Corporation now versus an apple tree, but same concept. And we're going to talk about assets versus liabilities, right? So on here, we have a graph of all the iPhones that have ever been created, except for the iPhone 16. That was the newest one that has been on here. And what the cost of those new iPhones were. Again, a lot of you out there were probably not even born when the first iPhone was there, but that's okay, right? Just know that they're old, right? On the right-hand side where it says cumulative stock value, that was the value of the stock at that time, right? And that's the value of what if you bought this Apple stock, the same amount of money that you would have bought an iPhone for, that's how much it would be worth, right? So every year, let's say you upgraded your iPhone and you bought that liability, right? You'd spend about $20,000, $20,653 over the course of the years. But if you just invested that same money and bought Apple stock with it every year instead, that amount in Apple stock, you would have $204,000, right? Yes, insane. Right? So you go from $20,000 in debt because you spent that money to $204,000 of money, right? That is the power. That is the apple tree in real life. And a lot of adults like to invest in Apple. Joe, you can probably speak more to this, but because that happens, for people, they get to spend money and get money from Apple as a corporation, as an owner, as a stock, and as an asset. So we're gonna play a little game, right? So again, Nate knows this game, but everyone get off of mute if you can. And we're going to play a little game called assets versus liabilities, right? So The first is a car. Is a car an asset or liability?
What do you think?
I think maybe a liability.
Okay, liability.
Think? Is it gonna make you money?
Mason?
Liability.
Liabilita. Yes, correct. It is a liability because it does not make you money, right? They
Yep.
they lower in value, and you gotta pay for it when it needs to be fixed. It's a liability.
Okay.
Second one, a fun one. Xbox Live and Call of Duty. Is that an
Liability.
or a liability?
Liability.
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 Video games.
Liability, absolutely. Liability, I love it. Okay, how about a house that you rent out to someone? Is that an asset or is that a liability?
Asset.
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 Asset. Asset. All right. Asset, good. Liability, bad. All right. How about Girl Scout cookies that you sell? Is that an asset or is that a liability?
Asset.
Asset.
Ella says asset. Asset. Yes. Asset. Yes. Okay. And we're going to go to the tough one here for all you Pokemon fans. A rare Pokemon card. Is that an asset or is that a liability?
What do you think? A rare Pokemon card.
It gives you money.
Yes.
Asset.
Austin.
Well, I think
Asset?
it might be a little bit of both because you buy it, and sometimes it could be an asset because sometimes you can sell it. So I would say mostly an asset.
Okay. I love it.
Asset.
Asset. Asset. Okay. I love it. I love it. So it was a trick question. I'm sorry. I tricked you guys. Ella, you were right, actually. It depends. It can be an asset. It can be a liability. Right? If it's an asset, if it goes up in value, but it's a liability, it doesn't. Right? So yeah, so we just want to continue to have that same kind of identity when we're looking at purchasing stuff for ourselves is this an asset or is it a liability? Right? So great game, guys. I love it. And eventually, what we want, and I'm not saying, guys, to not have nice things. You guys all should have nice things if you want it. But what I'm saying is I want you guys to have assets first, right? I want you guys to have assets so that your assets can pay for your liabilities. I think people make the mistake when they're young, like this is the biggest trap that you can make, is you make your first paycheck and you go buy nice things, but that nice thing is a liability, right? And then that you spent that money and it doesn't grow. And you guys have the best asset out there. You guys have time. Everyone on this call, every adult on this call would wish they can go back in time and know what they know now and start investing. I promise you that, right? So what we want, again, have nice things if that's what you guys want, but have your assets pay for it, right? So I'm just giving you this real life example here. Here's one of our assets. This is a house, right, that we rent out. We make $16,000 a month from it. We pay $12,000 a month in expenses, right? So all that stuff. So our profit is $4,000 a month, right? 16 minus 12. Know your numbers. We love math. Math loves us, right? So $4,000 is our profit, right? And what this does is it allows me to buy this liability of this car, my dream car. Costs $200,000. My monthly payment is $3,500, right? So that $4,000, this house pays for my car. Right. So even though the liability is appreciating, I still have this asset that's paying for that. So you can have nice things, but please, please, please get the asset first before you get the liability, and have the asset pay for your liability. And that's a way you can live for free forever. Who here loves to live for free? I love to live for free. That's the funnest part in life. Buy assets, not liabilities. All right, great. And to really nail down this point, I'm gonna bring back John and Jane. Right? So John here, saving $300 a month, right? He spends the $700 on iPhones and headphones and all that stuff. And guess what? The skill that he learned is he learned how to make a really, really good selfie with his new iPhone. He gets a lot of likes on his Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat, or if you guys even use social media, I don't even know. MySpace, I don't even know anymore, right? But that's what John's really good at. Jane spent the $700 on learning how to invest in herself. And she learned how her skill set was that she learned how to invest in assets young, right? So I'm going to tell you guys another story here about Jane and John. So Jane here, she started when she was 19 investing. So she puts away the $300 a month that she was saving every month. And she invests that into a tax-free investment account. So maybe a Roth IRA, Don't have to know that yet. Don't worry about it. But that tax-free investing account gets 10% a year return on it. And by the age of 27, she's like, great, I'm gonna start investing now. She's invested $28,000 into that investment account. John, on the other hand, has been watching Jane do this. They're friends from high school, right? John's been watching Jane do this, and he's like, lame. I got a new iPhone. I got the best selfies. I get the most likes right now. And he's just been watching. He's like, yeah, that was dumb investing that early. But then he's been watching her as she gets older and older, and she's like, wow. He's like, hey, wow, like she's been doing this a lot, and in fact, she's starting to make money. So by the time he's 27 years old, he starts investing just like Jane was, and he puts $300 away that he was making into a tax-free account, making 10%. And over that time, he stops at 65 years old, and he's invested $140,000. But when they're both 65 years old, Jane had 1.8 million and John had 1.5 million. But Jane stopped investing when she was 27, and John had to invest until he was 65. And this is why compounding is your best friend. Having that apple tree 30 years ago will yield you a lot more apples than the one that you planted last year. Right? So you guys, again, like I said, have the biggest advantage of all. You guys are all young, right? And like Joe, have hair on your head. Sorry, Joe, don't want to pick on you there, but I have to make the joke. Time is the most valuable asset, right? And so what this does is that active income I told you about making moolah. You trade your time for money, right? Eventually, you'll be able to save enough to invest in these assets that you can make passive income with, right? And passive income is making money while you sleep. Who here likes making money while they sleep? I do. I like sleeping. And so if I can make money while I sleep, even better. That's great, right? So homework assignment. I know I'm loading you guys with homework assignment, but these are fun. So next time that you guys all go out, it's for the kids and the parents, right? Next time you guys all go out for dinner or the mall or wherever you guys go out, just play the is it an asset or liability game, right? You could even be a neighborhood walk, just go point at stuff. Is that an asset or liability? Is that card an asset or liability? You know, is that restaurant an asset or liability? Right? So it's a fun game to look at. All right. That's your second homework assignment. Third now, what was the D in kid? It was to donate. So moolah magnifies who you are, no matter what. If you're a good person and you make a lot of money, that will magnify that you are a good person. If you are a bad person that makes a lot of money, it will magnify that. And so we want people to give back, right? That's where your passion comes from, right? So we want people to go from having what we call an active income, which is where you trade your time for money, like a job, right? To eventually be able to save enough to invest in passive income, where you have enough, you make money while you sleep, which is awesome. So eventually you can focus on what we call your passion income. So things that you're really excited about, right? Things that you can have fun with, that lights you up, right? That, you know, whether it's a mission or a cause or whatever it is. And the way I define your passion is being able to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want. Something that lights up your soul. And this can be anything from maybe saving animals or helping the environment or retiring your family or giving back to your church community, right? Like anything like that, right? And so for one last time, we're going to bring back John and Jane, our AI friends. And they haven't aged in these pictures because it's the future. And somehow there's really good skincare in the future. I don't know. They're 65 years old now, right? John has that 1.5 million that we talked about before. Jane has that 1.8. He starts to remember now his passion for the outdoors. And so what he dedicates his time to now is he creates policy to change the environment more, right? And that's what he loves. Jane, on the other hand, right, 65 years old, 1.8 million. She hasn't worked. She's been 27 because she just invested, right? And she starts to create a nonprofit that rescues puppies because that's what she loved doing, right? But now she has the time and energy and effort and the money to do it too. Right? So the homework assignment, again, for the kids and the parents is, if you had all the money in the world, you need money, who would you impact? Right? Because having your big why of why you're even doing all this, why you're even spending your night and evening with us talking about numbers and compounding and apple trees, and you're like, what does all that mean? Is when you remember your why of, I want to do that and change the world. that's going to give you the energy and the willpower to keep on going, right? So I'll end it with this. I want you guys to look at this quote. We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives, from John F. Kennedy. So I want you to look at your parent or guardian who brought you here today. They brought you here today because they love you and they want the best for you. Seriously, they wouldn't have done it if they didn't think this is the best for you. And to give you something that they may not have had when they were your age, right? But they know now that this will help you. I just want you to turn to them and just give them the biggest hug, right? And just say thank you, right? Because they're here for you. And at the end of the day, family is everything, right? So thank them, be grateful for them because they do so much for you. And hopefully in the future, you'll do a lot for them as well. And so our gift for you, this is just a sample today, right? We didn't want to overwhelm you too much stuff. We have a full financial literacy course for kids that we just launched today. It's free for all you guys that attended today, right? So if you scan this QR code, use the promo code KID2024. It's an online module, right, that you guys can take and use and go over, and we'll go over much more detail. You see Joe get to talk about stocks. You myself talk about real estate and everything that we talked about today in more detail. The bonus here, right? If you got excited about this and are pumped up and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go do something with this, and I hope you do. I really, really do. We do have a bonus that we have a grant program for our kids as part of our nonprofit. That if you go and do that full financial literacy course and you finish it all the way 100%, and you have this awesome business idea or investing idea that you want to pitch to us, and you submit it before June 1st of 2025, we are going to give the winner that will be determined by our board real money so that you can go invest that with, right? Real money, up to $5,000, right? And you can do this with partners too. So you have your brother or your sister or a cousin or a friend that you want to do this with. We'll allow up to 3 people in a group to do that, right? So scan the QR code for more details there. You go on ZEN Cares to get more details on the grant program itself. Beautiful Financial Literacy course, send it in by June 1st, 2025, and we'll review it and we'll announce the winner next year. So love that. For all the parents out there, if you want to help support, we have our gala coming up in November 16th of this year in San Carlos. It's a great way to raise fundraising for these grant programs in general. You can scan this QR code here to sign up. It's a black tie event. I think last year, just at the events alone, we were able to raise like $35,000, which was amazing. And so I really appreciate everyone that was able to come out and contribute and to give back and just have a great time. And if you guys just want to stay in touch, here's our social media stuff. Create impact with us. That's our website for our nonprofit. If you guys want to invest with us in the future, that's our investment group. If you want to learn from us as ECU, that's our coaching program. And if you want to heal with us in Hawaii at our wellness center, that's Lotus Rising. So other than that, I really, really appreciate the time and the attention and for the participation, right? Especially from Nate, Mason, Ella, and Austin. Really appreciate it. We'll just take this time now. And, if you guys have any questions for myself, Charity, Joe, or Patty, we are open book for you guys. Who's excited? Who's excited? Who's going to do something? Joe's excited. We're all excited. All right. I'm excited for you. I can't wait for everyone to take the course. And, one thing that we ask is that we are a newer nonprofit. So I would love, our whole team would love feedback on it too. What you guys could learn more on, how you guys like to learn it. So just let us know how the course goes so that we can always make adjustments for the future as well. All right, we'll end it with one takeaway. Ella, what was your biggest takeaway today?
What do you mean?
What was the biggest thing that you learned from this?
About investing and how you can make more money and save more money. And I think it was all exciting to hear about what we could do today and all of us getting together.
Yes. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Well, I appreciate you guys playing full out. And, please, please, please reach out if you guys need anything from us. We're always happy to help. And we'll be looking forward to your guys' pitches as well. So thanks so much, everyone. Have an amazing night. And let us know if you guys need anything. Take care. Bye.
So much, Calvin.
Well, we'll see ya.
Thank you.